Buy cheap and safe NBA 2K22 MT at NBA2King.com. You can use code Excapar, that's EXCAPAR, for 5% off your entire purchase. Alrighty, everybody, here we are with another tier list. We've done the point guard, shooting guard, small forwards, power forwards, and the best cards. So obviously we've got to mix it up with the centers and cover the best centers in 2K22 Myteam. So if you guys are excited, the like button down below. And if you're not, yeah, good for you, I guess. Anyway, let's start off with the hard pass like we always do. And also, if you want to see any of those other tier lists, you can check them out. Link in the description down below. They'll all be there. Don't worry about it. Anyway, if we can start off the hard pass tier, I'll show you guys everybody that's in here. And I will say, the pickings for center are pretty slim, but the options that we do have are all pretty easy to get your hands on. So, there's that. Plus, there's a lot of good power forwards that can also play center. So, it all works. Anyway, we have Sapphire Zildjiūnas Ilgauskas, who is a semi-decent like stretch big if that's what you're looking for. I personally would never really use this card if I were you, but maybe you could have some fun with Big Z. Again, he can be nice because he is a guy that can shoot at least a little bit. It's nothing crazy, but at least a little bit. 79 shot 3, 86 shot mid. He's just painfully slow for me personally. I'm just not really a fan of that. I do like the jumper. I do like the fact that he's got a post game, but my guy's got a 44 speed. I can't mess with that. The same thing goes for my man Simbular. I love the fact that they're bringing back like old goats of my team, and Simbular was one of them back in like 2K16. Everybody was using this bronze at the beginning of the year. But my guy's got a 30 speed. So while he's a good rebounder, a good guy in the post, he has a 7'5" height, he has a 7'9" wingspan, he's 360 pounds. Like that guy's got it like that in the post. He's just way too slow, and he gets burnt so quickly that people just whip right by him. So just not my cup of tea. Next up is Yao Ming. Same case, the guy's just way too slow. Yao Ming should be fun, but I don't know. I've cooked him every time I've gone against him. I just really haven't seen him really be OP like that. I do suspect that when we get a later Yao Ming, a diamond, a pink diamond, an opal, maybe even a dark matter at some point, that he's going to be like the best card that's ever existed. But I'm just going to hope that never happens. And next up is my guy Amethyst Al Horford. I mean, like, let's be honest, one of the worst jumpers in the history of 2K. He should be an all-around card, but just don't use Al Horford. Mitchell Robinson's next. I love this Mitchell Robinson card. Carried me through a lot of, domination, stuff like that, because he's got really good defense. But at this point, I feel like there's a lot of guys who do what he does and just better. So I threw him down in the hard pass. And same thing goes with this DeAndre Jordans. If you are one of those people that has, got this DeAndre Jordan card, the reason I ranked it this way is because I feel like there's no reason to use any of these DeAndre Jordans unless it's a diamond. If you're going to go with the DJ, just go with the diamond. Don't use the amethyst. Don't use the sapphire. It's just not worth your time, like, at all. I'm not really a huge fan of any of them because I don't really like centers that don't even have a midi. I need at least a midi, and the 25 and the three-pointer in the midi, just not for me, but they are good, finishers, paint deep guys. You're getting out of DeAndre Jordan. We all kind of know how he plays at this point. And then we can start off our still decent here because that is actually it for the hard pass. Right there. Boom, boom, boom. We have Karl Anthony Towns, who I've never really been a massive fan of, even when he first came out the first day. He should be a really good offensive guy, but he just doesn't really feel that way. He's an absolute pup on defense. Cat's main problem is the fact he doesn't have a fast jumper, and that's really about it. If he had like quick timing or something like that, he'd be a god. I do think future Karl Anthony Towns cards that we get will be pretty good. This Amethyst just kind of missed the mark for me. Joe Barry Carroll is a good post rebounding defensive guy. He's all right. Nothing too special, but he's a decent all-around card. Ben Wallace is all offense or all defense, no offense. And if that's your cup of tea, Ben Wallace is your guy. He is undersized, but he was another one of those cards why I really wasn't a fan of him when I first used him, like the day that he came out. He's supposed to be a really good defender, but I just kind of felt like he was too undersized and getting pupped. So just my personal opinion. If you use Ben Wallace and you love him, that's great for you. I just think that there's a lot better centers to use. Tyson Chandler's up next. Same thing as the DeAndre Jordan. I think just like step up where you're going to play in the post. You're going to block shots. You're going to get rebounds. Not really going to score too much. It's like a lob or a pick and roll like 2 feet from the basket. That's really just how it goes. Same thing with Theo Ratliff. Although I think Theo Ratliff does have a little bit of a midi, but good for him. But let's be honest. Who's ever seen a Theo Ratliff card and go, yes, let me throw him on my squad? Next up is a card that I'm not even going to lie. I do not know how to pronounce. I think it's Ha Seong-jin. Could be right, could be completely wrong. So either way, but our guy over here has got some, pretty good post game. I will say that, and he's tall, man. This guy's huge when he's on the court, which can make him pretty annoying to go against. But I just really haven't been impressed with him at all. He's got like a 60-shot three. You can hit it in the corner off the catch if you wanted to. But again, I feel like with a lot of these still decent hard pass tiers, they're just better center options, to be honest. Next up is my guy Rudy Gobert, who blocks shots and gets boards. Sit. I have never seen this Rudy Gobert card score more than 10 points on me. Ever. Ever. And when he does, it's when like somebody is completely paint mashing and I just like forget that I should actually like hit triangle, because if you do it, this guy's not scoring. Next up is our guard Montrezl Harrell. I hate the fact he's got a silent L on his name. Like, what's the point? Anyway, the thing with Montrez is that he is a really just good like defensive card, but he's like 6'7" at the center, and I don't know about you guys, but a 6'7" center just really ain't my my thing. It's not what I'm looking for, but he can be okay if you wanted to. I just don't think he's worth the tokens. Next up is our guy Ruby Mike Muscala, who is a shooter of all shooters when it comes to a big man. The only problem with him is he's got a set shot 4, and that jumper sucks. Jumper's terrible. I have gone against a few people who I've left a little too open, and they've been able to actually cash out with Mike Muscala because he has a lot of really good badges. He got good stats, stuff like that. But the jumper's just bad, so I just think it's pretty easy as long as you don't overbait on his threes to shut this guy down completely. And last but not least is Marvin Bagley, who was one of the better budget centers that we got because he's pretty fast, or was pretty fast at the time. Good rebounding. He's a decent shooter. He's a decent post guy. He's a decent finisher. He's just pretty good at everything, but not crazy at anything, if we're being honest. So all around, Marvin Bagley he's still a decent card. I'm not gonna lie. Next up, we can start off our pretty damn solid, where we got our guy Ruby James Wiseman. Sadly, this Ruby James Wiseman didn't get the Evo up to a pink diamond, an amethyst, which I would have loved to see. But still, at a 7-foot center with a 7'3" wingspan, our guy can shoot a little bit with a 76.3. He's got an 80 mid. He's got 80 and everything in his inside scoring. He's got some good defense. He's got some good rebounding. He's got some good badges. We can't add any badges to him because they were banking on the fact that he got the Evo. Set shot 30 still isn't absolutely amazing, but it's definitely not bad for a James Wiseman card. And I think all around, he's a pretty damn solid just Ruby center, especially for the budget you can pick him up at. Next up is my man Dino Raja. They killed my boy Dino. Dino's been one of my favorite cards ever since he came out. I think it was like I think it was 2K20. I think it was like 2K20. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. I'm gonna go with that. Either way. Ever since Dino has came into the game, he's had a 6'11" height with a 7'11" wingspan, and it has been crazy. The boards, the blocks, everything like that he can get when he has that long wingspan. But they decided for some reason this year that they were going to just shrink his wingspan from 7'11" to 7'3". And it just doesn't make Dino as overpowered anymore. Jump shot 4 is still really nice, but he's got a pretty low 3-ball rating, so you have to give him a nice coach, shoe, floor general, all that sort of stuff to really capitalize on him. I think he's a great card. I think he's a super fun card, but he's not as good as what he could have been with a little bit higher 3-ball and the wingspan that he usually has, which I don't understand that. Next up is our man DeAndre Jordan. Like I said, if you're going to use DeAndre, use the diamond. This one just has, I think, Hall of Fame like rim protector, posterizer, intimidator, stuff like that. Just a lot better of a defender. Really good post guy, really good finisher. Just can't shoot at all, which I think makes him really good, easy to defend. But I will admit that there are some people that can make cards like DeAndre Jordan work real well. Next up is my man DeAndre Ayton. I actually really like this Amethyst DeAndre Ayton card. I can't really tell you why. I just think he's fun. DeAndre Ayton has a pretty decent jump shot rating, especially from the midi. A halfway decent 3-point rating. It's like a 70 or something like that, like maybe a 68. But it's still capable. Obviously, as you would expect with a DeAndre Ayton card, the guy can play defense a little bit in the paint. He can rebound pretty well. He's got a bit of a post game, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I think he's a fun card. I really like this DeAndre Ayton. I wish he would have got the Evo to a diamond because he would have been a demon. But he's still pretty good. Next up is our guy Christian Wood. We've had a lot of defensive centers, do their thing, but Christian Wood is one of those first centers who is all about the buckets. Like, all about the buckets. He's got the rail and base, which is really nice. He got a good post game, but really the reason you're using Christian Wood is because the guy's a great rebounder. I think he has Hall of Fame rebound chaser. But the main reason you're using Christian Wood is because the guy can shoot. Like, come on, he's got a really good jumper with it. That's why you're using Christian Wood. Don't lie to me. Next up is my man Bill Laimbeer. Bill Laimbeer is a really good defensive card. I think he comes with silver clams. The problem with Bill Laimbeer is that his jumper is trash. It is absolute trash. It is one of the worst jumpers, I think, in 2K history, and one of the worst jumpers that I've just ever used in general. Like, it's not good. You know what I mean? Like, it's not good. I wish it was, because it would make this Bill Laimbeer like a baby demon card, because he has really good shooting stats, badges, really good post game, really good finishing. His defense is just insane. He just, can't shoot even though he should be able to. Next up is my guy Alonzo Mourning, another really good defensive card, really good back to the basket kind of guy. Does have a bit of a 3-point shot, but just is another one of those guys who can do a little bit of everything, just kind of leans heavier on that defense. I just don't really like his jumper and just don't think he's anything too special, but he's still a good card. Next up is Wilt Chamberlain. If you like guys who can't score outside of like 2 feet from the basket, block a lot of shots that come into the paint, just play post game and dunk on people, boom, Wilt Chamberlain. Next up is my guy Rick Smits, who is money from the mid. He's got like an 80 mid-range, and the guy's just a demon out there. Jump shot 22 is beautiful. That Jimmy Butler jumper. And Rick Smits is like 7'4". So his defense is really good. His rebound is really good because he is tall as hell. I just love the fact that his jumper is really smooth, really consistent, really money. And especially on like limited weekends, this guy can be an absolute beast. Next up is my guy Rashawn Holmes, who is another one of those like I'm gonna play some defense, get some boards, play in the post kind of guys. I do think he's better than a lot of the other ones that we've talked about, but he's still nothing crazy. And I do think he has a bit of a 3-point shot. It's like a 70 or something like that, so that you could still kind of hit it. It's just another case of like, the jumper ain't too hot. Next up is my man Nikola Jokic. I know a lot of people that have fun with his Jokic card who really like him. I just personally think that his jumper is way too slow, and his defense just isn't good enough to warrant me actually using him in game. But he is a nice card. I know some people, have a lot of fun with him, so I'm still gonna put him in pretty damn solid because he's still good. I haven't found a way to really make him work consistently. And last but not least, on our pretty damn solid tier is Kristaps Porzingis. Brook Lopez base, absolutely money card out there. You're just not really playing defense, but I think it comes to like heavily offensive cards at the center position. I think he's probably one of the best, although he's a pup on defense. Starting off our baby demon tier, we got our man Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I feel like all of us should know how a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar card plays at this point. The guy's got post game, the guy's got defense, the guy's got rebounding. And he has a pretty money mid-range with a really good jumper, just no threes, which makes him a little bit easier to guard. But if somebody really wants to paint mash and really wants to go hard with his Kareem, it's a bit of a problem stopping him. Next up is our man Joel Embiid, who is, again, another one of those cards that I just love because he's good at everything besides the playmaking. Jump shot 47 is nice, allows him to shoot pretty consistently. Obviously, as you would expect with a Joel Embiid, he's got a really nice post game. You can fade it away a little bit, do some hooks, do some this, do some of that. But I just like the fact that he gives you some versatility. He's a great screen center, and he can shoot, opening up that defense a little bit more. So I just like him. Think he's fun. Next up is my man Dwight Howard. I've said this so many times. Some people just don't understand why Dwight Howard is crazy, and that's because you can't take a shot in the paint that this Dwight Howard can't block. Like, there isn't a shot that this Dwight Howard can't block. If you press triangle with this Dwight Howard, you're probably coming away with a block, and it's frustrating to go against. Like, plain and simple, frustrating to go against. And I've had some people, cheese with like some drop steps and some spin moves and some things like that with this Dwight, and he dunks and everything. He's just a crazy card. Next up is our man Dikembe Mutombo, who is an amazing defender because he's 7'2", has a massive wingspan, like amazing defender in the paint. His main problem is just that, well, he's supposed to be a good shooter. He has a really baited jumper. So while he does most other things in the game pretty well besides playmaking that you would want out of a center, his shooting can be there. It's just really, really easy to bait that jump shot out. When he first came out, he was one of the best because he was one of the only centers that could shoot. But right now, you can just bait that jumper out. Way too easy for me to still leave him in Demons tier. But the fact that he can shoot is nice. Next up is my man Bam Adebayo, one of the few undersized centers that I really, really like running. Bam Adebayo doesn't have a high, I think, steal rating, has a kind of a low block rating as well. But the great thing about Bam is that he plays really good defense all around. He can shoot threes pretty damn well. I like the jumper. I think it's easy to time. He's got a bit of a post game. He can finish, and he's a great playmaker at the center position, which I love. I love everybody on the team having, bullet pass or dimer, things like that, and Bam Adebayo just fits that style absolutely beautifully. Next up is our man Wang Shishi. This guy's crazy. He's got jump shot 22 like Rick Smits, but he can shoot the 3-ball. This guy is a demon. If you are on a budget and this Wang Shishi card is not on your team, you're tripping. This guy's a god. Next up is my guy, Rafe LaFrance. Basically the opposite of like back to the basket centers where we're not really going to be playing inside too much. We're just going to chuck threes. And he's damn good at it. Good screen setter. I would say he's okay on the defensive end. I'd think about it a little bit. I think he's okay on the defensive end, like Silver Intimidator or something like that. But the reason you like Rafe is because he's got like jump shot 28, really consistent, really nice jumper. Wang Shishi has, I think, jump shot 28 as well, and it just falls consistently. And he's got a post game as well, pretty nice there. Just not the highest of defense here, but I love Wang because he can kind of do everything. Next up is my guy Nate Thurmond. I saw somebody defend the fact that Nate Thurmond was a top center because they were like playmaking with like the ball in his hands. And a quick PSA, if somebody takes Nate Thurman, has the ball in his hands, and is trying to play make it like the three-point line, just don't guard him out there. And then the fact that Nate Thurman can handle the ball won't matter. Boom. Now, the fact that Nate Thurman can shoot is pretty nice, although it's only off of the catch. Like, literally only off of the catch. It's pretty nice. He has a pretty nice jumper as well. He's a good mid-range shooter. He's a really good defender. He's a really good post guy. I just don't think that Nate Thurman is a top-tier card. Like, there's just no reason to guard him when he's got the ball in his hands, and he's pretty easy to stop once you do. So if you see somebody trying to shoot a bunch of threes, play make around screens with Nate Thurman, just leave him open and let him shoot, and you'll probably win the game. Next up is my guy Moses Malone, who's basically just like a slightly different version of Nate Thurman. I think Thurman is more heavily on the defensive end, whereas Moses is more in finishing and rebounding, which is really good. And I do say Moses has a jumper. He can shoot, just really only off catch. I don't love the jumper either, but it's still not bad. And last but not least, in the Baby Demon tier is my guy Pink Diamond Kevin McHale. Real good card, although you have to get loads up in collector level to actually get him, which is kind of annoying. I don't love that, but I will say Kevin McHale is a great all-around card. Jumper, I absolutely hate it. I don't love it, but his defense is absolutely locked down. I love his versatility that he brings out there. I just don't think he's crazy top tier as a center, but he's all around damn good. And actually finishes off our Baby Demon tier before we move on to the Demons, where there should be just a lot of like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. Like Hakeem. I mean, come on. He has such an 18 and can literally do everything. You have to lock in Giannis to get him, but I've played this Hakeem plenty of times. He's good, and it's annoying. Next up is my man, my man, George Mikan. George Mikan, jump shot 4, really consistent, really nice. This guy is lightning quick for a center, which I absolutely love. Really works well as a power forward, I'll say that as well. Got some good post defense, some good post game himself. Drop steps, things of the like. But the one thing that they glitch with George Mikan is his speed and his dunking. So this guy yams on people. Especially if you use the right stick, this George Mikan can be one of the best just pure dunkers in a game, lob threats. Absolutely love him. Super fun. Highly underrated card. And he's actually pretty cheap right now, too. Next up is my man David Robinson. I mean, we all know it. David Robinson has one of the cleanest jumpers for a center in the game. Blocks literally everything. Like, is an insane defensive presence in the paint. And has a post game that just throws people under the basket and then dunks on them, too. In my opinion, I would say Hakeem's the best center in the game. But for most people that aren't going to lock in Giannis, David Robinson's the best center in the game. Next up is my man Arvydas Sabonis. I mean, the guy's 7'3", has a wide as hell player build, takes up way too much space on the court, and is an amazing playmaker. I love the fact that this Arvydas Sabonis, you can catch it, play in the post, you can still kick out and be absolutely green off every single shot that this Arvydas passes. It is amazing. Plus, obviously, because he's so big, he's so tall, he's a really good guy in the post. Like, you drop step and he just throws people away. And it's my humble opinion that this Arvydas Sabonis is the best screen center in the game. I've had so many people take Steph Curry and just hop around Arvydas screens and literally light me up. And it is the most annoying thing ever because you just cannot get around this guy. I don't know what it is about him, but he's a god. Next up is my man Nikola Vucevic, who, if it weren't for me running Giannis right now at center, he would be my starting center. I think he's my bench center right now, but he is so good. Vucevic is basically like Hakeem Olajuwon if you made the defense a little bit worse. But he comes to Hall of Fame catch and shoot, corner specialist, set shooter, and sniper, gold blinders, gold limitless, silver deadeye. So the guy literally does not miss shots if he's wide open. He also has gold bullet passer, dimer, needle threader, stuff like that. So he's actually a really good playmaker. 90s across the board in post game with really good finishing. And although his steal rating isn't too high, his perimeter isn't too high, he does have an 80 interior and 81 block and a lot of good defensive badges, and he's just an all-around really fun card to use in general. Like, he has gold interceptor, intimidator, post move lockdown, and rim protector. And I really haven't had too much trouble really using this Vucevic at a really high rate really consistently. I just really like this card, especially because he's just really good on the offensive end. Jumper's a little bit baited, but he's all around a beast. Next up is my man Miles Turner, and Miles Turner is just a beautiful 3-and-D center. Like, the guy can shoot damn well with a really nice jumper, and his defense is top tier. All around a great card. And last but not least is Marc Gasol. Imagine Nikola Vucevic with a little bit less offense when it comes to shooting. You add it to post game and you juice up the defense, and you got Marc Gasol. Set shot 18, not a bad jumper, not a great jumper. I put it just dead in the middle. It's not horrible, but it's not amazing. You know what I mean? But Marc Gasol is just a great defensive center, blocks a bunch of shots, just does great, and he's a really good screen center too. So all around, I think he's definitely in that top tier. So that's where I leave it. This is my top centers tier list. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. If you like it, leave a like. If you don't, I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. Let me know who you guys want me to move up, who you want me to move down, and everything else in between. Like if I missed somebody you really didn't rank, let me know it down in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.